Alrighty, we are back for another episode of My Hero Academia, My Hero Review. So, without further ado, of course, there are going to be some spoilers. Y'all know this for the latest episode, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it, then come back for the review. So, we're going to start this off right now, as literally it starts off with Eraserhead asking the 1A students, what's something that they could have done differently in this, match against 1B. Froppy says that she wishes she didn't lose anyone during the exercise, and baby, it's okay. It's okay. It wasn't your fault that you guys lost the other two. It's fine, baby. It's not your fault. But other people, including Kirishima and Kendo, are very, they're frustrated. They're pretty hard on themselves, even Froppy. And it's brought up by Sero that the reason that, they sort of are hard on themselves are because, well, the fight that they both have had real life encounters with villains in Shie Hasaikai. And, once they've been through the real thing, it sort of makes their frame of mind and their motivation different than others. Class B is reflecting on, why it is they lost because, they stopped communicating with each other. But Monoma is psyched to be working with Shinzo as it could lead to him potentially beating Class 1A. All of the classes at this point are starting to, make up plans for what it is they're exactly going to do. Their next move, as Deku says that his team will be going up against Shinzo in the 5th matchup. And during this time, All Might is also reflecting on everything that's happened, because this is supposed to be the end of the school year, or at least very near the end of the school year. And I'm thinking, god damn, it took 5 seasons to get to the end of just one school year in this universe. And god damn, so much. I'm pretty sure it's 1 year. I don't think that there was any lapse in judgment or time, because it seemed as though as soon as season 1 ended, then season 2 picked up at the exact same time with little to no time breaks at all whatsoever. But All Might says, and you think about it, Class 1A has been through a hell of a lot. Like, there's just been so much Shie Hasaikai, the attack, all the way back in season 1. There's so much shit that's happened to Class 1A, and this is like finally going to the end of their first year. And All Might, he's sort of even says and that this is like the dress rehearsal for them, preparing them for something bigger as the years go on. And the second match between Class 1A and 1B is about to start, and before the match even starts, there's obviously some friendly rivalry going on between Momo and Kendo, as the competition between the two, starts off, and it starts off hot. Tokoyami uses Dark Shadow to scout the area for the other team, and it actually finds the class of 1B. And as 1A is on their way to the location, that's when Dark Shadow attacks B. But Class 1B, their version of Tokoyami comes in, and before we get to see what he does, we cut back to 1A as they're on their way to the location. Suddenly, Dark Shadow starts to come back. He's coming back to them, and he attacks Tokoyami. Dark Shadow explains that the other Dark Power Quirk guy, we'll just name him Tokoyami 2 for the remainder of this video. He says that Tokoyami 2 got to him as he throws the original Tokoyami into a wall. John Cena's daughter, of course, that joke will never get old, uses her warp retraction to shine light on Dark Shadow, which weakens it just enough for Tokoyami to call it back. And as he does so, it's revealed that Tokoyami 2 was inside of him and controlling him the whole time. They try to catch him, and Momo even does capture him in a net, but his quirk allows him to melt into any form of darkness. So it's pretty much said from Tokoyami 2 that him and the OG Tokoyami are destined to fight and become rivals, as Tokoyami accepts the challenge that's been set with a move that he invented during his time with Hawks called Dark Fallen Angel. We then get a flashback to Tokoyami and his first time meeting Hawks, and his first, work study with Hawks. Hawks is, doing his whole superhero thing, and Tokoyami obviously chases after him. Tokoyami asks Hawks why he specifically asked for him to work at his agency, whereas Hawks says that the reason why he chose Tokoyami was because they were birds of a feather, as well as that he wanted to talk to someone from Class 1A about the villain attack all the way back in Season 1. He also thought that Tokoyami could, keep up with him, as he thought, that Tokoyami would be the right fit from what he saw at the sports festival. Tokoyami says that he has actually learned nothing from his internship with Hawks, but then for the work study, Hawks took him on again. Tokoyami says that Hawks shouldn't look down on him, as we actually get to see him do like some sort of power move as he's bouncing from light fixture to light fixture on the street, as opposed to the beginning of the flashback where he's just running everywhere, and we see the hard work that Tokoyami is putting just to be equal to Hawks. And one day after a hard day of work, Hawks tells Tokoyami to stay after, and the next thing that we see is Hawks carrying Tokoyami, and they're flying in mid-air out in the night sky. Hawks then reveals that he thought that Tokoyami was wasting his potential, and that those that can fly should fly. As we snap back to reality, Tokoyami 2, he slinks back into the shadows. Everyone thinks that he's going after the OG Tokoyami, but in reality, he ends up taking Aoyama. Tokoyami 2 is bragging about his victory at this point when the OG Tokoyami reveals Dark Fallen Angel, which allows him to fly as he is able to recapture Aoyama. Aoyama uses his laser to fire into the many pipes that are below him so they can reveal the location of Tokoyami 2, as Momo and John Cena's daughter have him cornered. But as they are about to capture him, that's when mushrooms sprout on Momo and John Cena's daughter, because it turns out that Class 1B has a plan. It's a backup plan if their first plan, happens to fail, which is to cover everything in mushrooms. And that's how the episode ends. With the next episode preview going on, we get to see more and more of these mushrooms that are being sprouted all over the place. Momo ends up getting separated from the group, as it looks like it's up to her to try and win it for Class 1A. And that's how the episode ends. So that was it for this episode of My Hero Academia. I thought it was pretty good. Not as good as last week's episode, because Shinzo was fucking amazing in that episode. Plus, there was a lot of Froppy. A lot more Froppy in that episode. But no, this episode was really good. I really want to see what Momo and the rest of Class 1A do to combat Class B, because it looks like Class B really is learning from the mistakes that were made in the previous fight from their last classmates. So do me a favor, let me know what you guys think about this episode, what you guys think is going to happen next in the comments section below. Make sure you guys hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I've been Samuel V, aka Excellent Anime Reviews, and I will see you all as soon as I can.